some women block intimacy because they feel threatened by a man's vulnerability. I don't get that.
No.
Next, there are some women who are afraid that if they become too close to a man, they risk losing their sense of autonomy and independence. How about it?
No, but I think the men are more afraid of losing their sense of autonomy and independence if they get close to me.
Next, contempt is an unconscious strategy some women use to protect them from feeling too dependent upon men. Women who need to control do so to feel more secure.
Yeah, that's true, I think.
And women with unrealistic expectations court danger.
Yes.
And women who unknowingly prevent intimacy stimulate men's basic fears. Who unknowingly prevent intimacy stimulate men's basic fears. Well, look who's here. Melvin Kinder, Ph.D., and Connell Cowan, also a Ph.D. They have also authored the book Smart Women and Foolish Choices, which is done very well. Obviously, you're onto something here that concerns us all. You really feel that there is a identifiable personality profile?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The patterns are so predictable. Like, for example, in Susan's case, I'm sure that this man felt that his rhythm of commitment, his wish to commit, was totally out of sync with yours. And he probably felt totally overwhelmed. There's no question about it.
Well, what is it about us men that we're so easily overwhelmed? Are we wimpy or what?
No, we're not easily overwhelmed. If we're out of sync, we're easily overwhelmed. Men want to commit just as much as women do, but they have different rhythms. And it's those rhythms, the differences in rhythms, that make for a lot of the confusions that women face today.
Maybe you're just scared of marriage, Susie. Not necessarily a neurotic feeling, maybe.
I thought I was ready. He walked out.
Do you think maybe that the men are insecure?
Nah. What, any wisdom on that?
I'd say he was, but...
Well, obviously he was scared, and he certainly is, not a very admirable kind of man. But at one point, he did want to commit. The question is, what happened?
What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
I think he felt overwhelmed because the pace, the growing commitment and growing engagement was too quick. And looking at that house, that might have been it. I don't know.
You see, for example, in general, women get to the point where they're willing and desirous of making a commitment about twice as fast as men do typically. The woman would like to make a commitment somewhere around 6 months, and a man somewhere around a year. And if the woman tends to accelerate that pace, what can happen is all of a sudden the man backs out, and sometimes in a real panic.
Susan Stearns is at your left, Dr. Cowan. You have had successful relationships with men. You're single and you live here in Seattle.
That's right.
And everything's right with you?
Pretty close.
Well, then what are you doing here?
My mother said the same thing.
How old are you?
29.
Do you want to get married?
Yes.
There's nobody in your life right now?
No.
You say that kind of forlornly.
I'd love to have a man in my life right now.
But you're not, you don't toss and turn at night because there isn't? Or
Not losing sleep, no.
obviously you probably had many opportunities to marry, right?
A couple.
And you didn't because?
It wasn't right. I didn't love him enough. Not enough to get married.
Yeah. Now, as you know, in the 50s, if you weren't married by the time you were 29, your mother started a novena.
That's true in the 80s, too.
Well, I mean, do you think of a clock ticking at all? Is that an issue?
Not very much, no. I'll tell you, most of my friends that are my age are either single, just getting married, or perhaps got married early on, divorced, and they're single again.
And how is it out there at 29? What are the men like?
Jungle out there.
Jungle?
It's a jungle out there.
What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with it? Well, everybody starts out and you say, where do you meet men? Where do you meet men? And I'm sure they say that in New York, they say it in Seattle. It's hard to meet men, it's hard to meet somebody you like, that likes you, that will get along with your job, gets along with his job, and you have time for each other, and it works. And that's hard.
We hear a lot on this program from single women who say that the men out there are either gay or married or alcoholic. What? It must be terrible to be a woman. You're nodding with affirmation to that.
Oh.
Are you there, caller?
Yes, I am, Phil. I just heard you say that it's terrible to be a woman. No, I disagree. I think that the first girl that is talking about where the man left her at the train station, or she left him, I think she's too nice. I think there is no challenge. If there's not at least a little bit of a challenge.
Hang on a minute.
I have 2 girlfriends, and their husbands left them because they were too passive and went with aggressive women.
Well, but this one is, Susie is saying she's aggressive. She's not the Garden Gate. Anything you want to do, honey, you want to watch the sports, then go ahead. And that's another question. I mean, how do you get them away from the television set?
I was perfect, and my husband left me after 27 years.
You know, you're not alone, as I don't have to tell you. Would you mind just for a moment? Yeah. All right. Why? I mean, you must have thought about this more than we have.
Yes, I know why. It's when your hair gets gray and your belly...
Please don't say that. When your hair gets gray and what?
And your stomach's bigger than your boobs.
Seattle, we're going to miss you.
I'm almost 29 years old, and I've had the opportunity to get married a couple times, but I don't know, I think what it is I'm too independent on myself. I have no desire to have anybody to take care of me.
Do you have any desire to have him to be married?
No.
You want to be close with a man?
Yeah, but not that close.
Right. Yeah, it's, you know, we talk about that very kind of dilemma in the book. A woman called the loner, and it's really unfortunate. A lot of professional women today, what happens is that when they get into a relationship, they're so frightened of the normal give and take and normal accommodations of a marriage that they pull back and prevent any real intimacy from occurring. It's a real tough dilemma.
Here are the types of women you describe for us in the book. Ahem.
Right.
The Ice Queen. Is it possible?
Yeah.
You think?
Very much.
How do you suppose? Are you happy with being the Ice Queen?
Not all the time, no.
It sure keeps you out of trouble.
That's true.
The other is the Eager Beaver. That's not you. That's Susie. Are you the Eager Beaver?
I'd like to also say that I wake up now every morning very happy that I didn't marry that man. He was the wrong man.
Also, the Sphinx. There is a woman, the Sphinx.
The Sphinx is a woman who tends to feel badly about herself in certain ways, and she withholds those ways from the relationships that she has. She hides them. And in doing so, what she does is she blocks the kind of intimacy and richness that she would have if she would bring those into her relationship.
The romantic. You go to her apartment, the stereo's on, the cork's out of the wine bottle, and she's wearing... You know what I mean?
Right.
Is that a romantic?
Yeah. Well, she's relentless in her craving for romance all the time, and men feel overwhelmed by this kind of woman.
And the final category I'm having trouble reading here, the ball buster. Why are you plotting that? Now, does this mean you know what that is? What is that? You know who? What is it? Do you know what it is? What? Too what?
Too aggressive.
Yeah. Well, what is it then?
It's somebody who really crushes on a man's ego, probably.
Right. That's right. Her anger.
It's really being too aggressive, but where the aggression is taken out in bed, basically.
In bed?
Yeah.
How does it... In bed?
Yeah. Well,
This
You
is
mean you need an orthopedic surgeon after the experience, or?
Psychologically speaking, yes.
Psychologically speaking. She may or may not, or is that it?
This is a woman who's had a lot of unresolved anger that she brings into the sexual domain, and it gets expressed that way.
Yeah, she is so aware that men are so vulnerable when it comes to their sexual feelings that she goes right for that area, and it works. You know.
Don't you think it's background? I mean, what you've seen your mother or your grandmother or how you were raised?
That's part of it. There's no question about it. We model ourselves after our parents. Sure.
Are you there, caller?
I'm here.
Go ahead.
I think that it has a lot to do with the way your father treated you as a child, you know, a pattern. You relate to the way your dad treated you when you were young, and then you go on to pick men that are similar that way. As for myself, I used to pick guys like that, and then I went total opposite and picked a guy that was nothing like my father, and now I'm happily married.
Aren't all women, aren't we all partly each one of these women? We're not necessarily always the other.
Absolutely. That's true. In the book, we use these cases really just to illustrate patterns of behavior, and everyone represents in bits and pieces probably of all of them.
I've had some good relationships, but the timing has seemed to be off. Don't you think timing has a lot to do with the whole thing, too?
Susie, did you say you were 35?
Yes.
Well, when is her time?
Age. I'm talking about just timing between the individuals.
Yeah. In other words, when you're both in the same frequency. Is that how you want to put it?
Well, which is often not the case between men and women.
Yes, over here.
Well, I think whether you're rich or poor or no matter what your lifestyle is, I think men, no matter what they say, if they feel needed without having their ego destroyed, they're going to stay. They're not going to leave if they feel that they are what is important in your life.
Is that so? Tell this to the woman married 27 years. And why is it that males have... You know, one of the common complaints we get all the time, all he does is watch television.
Right.
You know, there are...
You're saying that now with the Sonics game?
Well, you know, I mean, there are guys... you know, they didn't know he was dead until ESPN signed off. Yeah, who's with me?
Does a woman always have to keep building up a man's ego time?
Yes. Because, you know, that's the way we are. I mean, we're scared to death, I guess.
Why can't they build up ours?
I've been married 5 times. So
You've been married what?
5 times. So does that mean I'm a woman that men love to leave or love to love?
What do you think?
Well, I think they love to love me.
They love to love you. Are you an ice queen, the eager beaver? What are you here?
I'm a little bit of all of that. I think that you have to be to keep a man.
5 times a young woman like you?
5 times.
How do you explain, you know, wouldn't you like to sort of, are you going to get married again?
Well, I'm not quite finished with this one, so I'm...
Well, where is he on the meter, do you figure? You're happy?
I'm happy with him. If he's not happy with me, then we might end this marriage.
But, Do you see the other 4?
Well, in fact, one of my ex-husband's my best friend, yeah. I babysit for his baby.
This is the way it is for you, and you don't particularly feel any need to... it's okay with you that you've been married 5 times. You don't look too guilty about it.
I don't feel badly about it at all.
Yeah.
Well, I've been married almost 35 years, and this is my daughter. She's getting married in about 3 weeks, and she's 27, and we've had a wonderful marriage, and I've just had a son that graduated from Gonzaga University,
right.
And I have all 3 of my children have graduated from college. She's a nurse, and they've all done well, and we have a wonderful marriage, and yay for marriage, and we have a wonderful marriage and happy. We're very content, very happy, and I'm
This is so boring. I'm just... You are never going to get on anybody's talk show. You know that, don't you?
You know,
I mean, where's the scandal? Come on, give us some.
I'm not boring. People think I'm interesting. I've gone back to school in interior design. I've got my mother living with me now.
Really? Is your mother here, too? Is your mother? Hi. How How you doing? Where?
She's from Salt Lake City.
She's from Salt Lake City. How do you do? Where's your daughter? Is there a daughter? Well, congratulations. You're getting married in 3 weeks? May I kiss the bride?
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Is there anybody else here that's, we got a little time. We're in Seattle, Washington, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Ice cream, yummy.
For my little stain maker, I get the stain lifter. All goes right to the stain and just lifts it away. It's the stain lifter.
Darling, this is tough.
Darn, this is tougher. Sunlight. It cuts tough, baked-on, caked-on food, even grease.
Wow, I declare.
Sunlight with lemon juice. It cuts that tough stuff loose.
Where's the ragu pasta meals?
This canned spaghetti.
These are the guys. I can't feed them kids food.
Yeah? When kids outgrow canned pasta, they're ready for the great taste of ragu pasta meals.
That's great.
Grow up to ragu pasta meals. Great taste you don't get from canned pasta.
Some people think swabs are all the same, but you know Q-tip swabs are soft and safe, with 50% more cotton at the tip. Q-tip's brand cotton swab, because a swab by any other name is not the same.
Baskin-Robbins baseball helmet sundaes, just $1.95 each. Collect all 26 now at your nearby Baskin-Robbins.
If you're having to take drugs to relieve neck or back pain, you may be doing permanent damage to your spine or nervous system. At Blackstone Chiropractic, we utilize the latest in therapeutic equipment to achieve natural pain relief. So don't wait. Call us today to arrange for a free spinal exam. And remember, at Blackstone Chiropractic, most insurance is accepted with low or no out-of-pocket cost to you.
Doing a job right takes determination, patience, even a little stubbornness helps. Because today doing a job just good enough is all too common. That's why we put a little extra effort into everything we do. And it shows in the quality and value wherever you see our name, Bonnie Hubbard. Celebrate Memorial Day with Bonnie Hubbard potato chips and Shasta soft drinks. And don't forget to enter Bonnie Hubbard's Local Girl Sweepstakes, now through June 7th.
Yes.
It seems to me we're speaking of women as marketable items, and I wonder why this is important to men so much more than women.
What is more important?
Yeah, it looks like we're analyzing. It really does. It looks as though the implication here is that we are ascribing all relationship difficulties to the woman.
No, not at all. No.
From our point of view, I think men and women are equally culpable for the quality of their relationships. I mean, the contribution has to be mutual or it doesn't work.
The fact is, Phil, that women are more involved in caring about the relationship and wanting to learn about it and reading the books. And it's unfortunate that men aren't as evolved in that way. They're changing, but they haven't reached there yet.
Are you there, caller? Go ahead.
What are these names like Eager Beaver and Ice Princess? Obviously, this is a male's point of view, and I don't know why these women are putting up with men's advice. It seems a woman should have written this book, and the men should have written a book about how men act.
Well, you can't. The book is about men's patterns of attraction, about the ways in which men fall in love, fall out of love, and who better than to write that than the two men?
Yeah.
What happened to good old-fashioned commitment, to getting married and working out all those problems and sticking with it till it gets better?
Well, I think commitment is happening today like it always did. I think men want to love women every bit as much as women want to love men. They want to be as close to women as women want to be to them, and I think commitment is happening.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm real thrilled to be here today, and I'm supposed to be at the Swedish Club with my honey. And Bill wants scandal. I have a honey, and I'm not married. You asked for it, Phil. You asked for it.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? I went shopping at the supermarket, and I found a darling.
You did?
Yes. son back here, too, by the way. And
But you don't know him in the biblical sense.
yes, every sense.
Really?
And he's very sweet, and I agree with you.
Do you? Good.
Keep up their feelings.
Make him feel...
Make him feel important.
Yeah.
Now he flies a plane. He didn't
does?
before.
Really?
He owns a plane, and I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
He did.
But
He does all the things he wants today.
Well, fine. Well, can I have the mic? That's all right.
No, I'd like to keep it.
But now,
and
how do
you
you...
are better looking than you are on television.
Well,
I watch you every day.
Well, you devil. When he's standing there in black socks and boxer shorts, I mean, how do you... You know...
All I say is that he's got the cutest buns.
Would not let this guy alone at the Swedish club, I'll tell you that. Hi, caller, go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to say that I think that most men are very immature in their feelings and emotions. Most of them are chicken, and most of them are all looking for their mother, and it is very difficult for them to deal with a beautiful, good-looking, intelligent, independent, hard-working woman who is so full of love that they cannot handle that. I have so much love to give to somebody, and it is very difficult for men to relate to that.
Can I say
I'm not
something to
overwhelming.
you, caller?
Sure you can. Go ahead.
I think that men really are intimidated by and threatened by aggressive women. That's my own
I'm
experience.
not aggressive. I don't consider myself to be aggressive. I'm aggressive in the business world because I am a survivor, okay?
Hang on.
I just celebrated my 10th anniversary, and I agree with this lady up here. It takes a lot of commitment, and any relationship goes through good times and bad times, but that's the beauty of the marriage. I know he'll be there tomorrow, even if I burn the dinner tonight and don't do the laundry. And I love him, and I'm going to build him up because I love him.
Well, I think I'm in the wrong place. I'll be married 51 years next month.
You'll be married 51 years next month? Where's your book? Come on, get it up.
Book? I don't need a book.
Everything's fine with you?
Yeah.
Did you build him up over the years?
Of course not. We just took each other as we are.
Yeah, I just like to say, I don't think there's any fundamental difference between men and women in this situation. I think it works the other way about, you know, for the man's side of it as well. Well, that there are men that women love and, you know, and men that women leave. Right. And it works the same way. And I think this kind of, determining it this way and having the book out, I can understand addresses the issue, but I think it does help keep men down where they're not as willing to become aware of the problems and the issues.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to ask Susie, was she sure that he got lost, didn't get lost? I mean, he left you, he didn't get amnesia, you know, or something happened tragic to him, or did you ever hear from him again?
I think he chickened out. I think he was afraid of commitment. I think that what we're seeing now is that people, both men and women, really are looking for more commitment and intimacy. But I do think that one of the blocks to that is that there's so much heartbreak. When you tell me that you were married for, what did you say, 27 years? Yeah. And he walked? I mean, there is heartbreak. We suffer after that. I suffered for a long time and had to ask myself a lot of difficult questions until I started to hear my family and my friends say, it's not just, you know, there's nothing wrong with you.
Are you there, caller? Hi.
I just have one question. I want to know if all men are jerks.
Well, what do you think?
I think they are. I mean, I'm 19 years old. Sunday my boyfriend left me, and I'm starting to wonder if it's me. I mean, this has happened I don't know how many times in the past, and I don't see the reason because I always give a lot to a relationship, and I seem not to get much in return.
You're 19?
19. No. In November.
How old's your boyfriend?
He's 21.
Is he a jerk?
Well, at the time I was going out, I didn't think he is, but now, yeah.
What is a jerk? How does jerkness manifest itself?
The Sunday that he broke up, his ex-girlfriend was at his house. And they were in the bedroom when I called.
Well, my good woman, you want to start running as fast as you can away from him, right?
Yeah, but I wonder, you know, if this is going to just keep happening and happening and happening and...
Get in on this. Tell us,
I don't
Susan.
think it's happening. I think what you have to do is to make sure you have your eyes open and you pick up these signs as quickly as you can, and you're smart enough to, say goodbye and move on.
Susan, and what would anything you want to say to this 19-year-old?
Well, when you're 19 years old, there are a lot of guys who are jerks out there. There are a lot of 19-year-old jerks. There are a lot of great 19-year-olds, too. But no, they get taller, they get better, some of them.
You think so?
Sure.
You think 29-year-old men you're finding a lot of generous, insightful, compassionate?
No, not a lot. But I haven't written them off yet.
Uh-huh.
You never give up hope.
Lose this guy.
Losers.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Well, President Reagan has now put American ships in the Persian Gulf on heightened alert in the wake of last night's attack on the USS Stark. The Pentagon now says that 28 men were killed and at least 7 injured when an Iraqi missile slammed into the side of the frigate. The attack raises a number of questions. Among them, why was the Stark's defense system not activated? Why did the Iraqis fire the missile in the first place? And did the Iraqi pilot hear the American ship's attempts to make radio contact? The president wants to know the answers, and so does the country. We'll have all those details on World News Tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. Hope you'll join us.
You don't think I'd go to all the trouble to make delicious Francisco bread and rolls and then put a crust on them that's too hard to eat? No. They're nice, and they're soft, and I took just as much care with my sourdough bread to make sure it was tangy, but not too tangy. And both of them are so fresh and delicious. I love this bread.
Would you be willing to part with some of it?
Oh, sure.
Orwheat, obsessed with baking the best.
It's wet. It's wild. It's Nestea Iced Teasers.
A tease of lemon, a tease of lime, a tease of orange. That's iced teasers.
Real iced tea, seasoned with the taste of fruit, pleasing with only 6 calories.
A real tasty, tingly, good time.
Nestea Iced Teasers, now in wild cherry. Enjoy extra sugar-free gum.
You get extra flavor, extra fun, get extra sugar-free gum.
Extra, the only leading sugar-free gum with NutraSweet, gives you extra refreshing flavor that lasts an extra, extra, extra long time.
Extra flavor for that extra long ride. Extra flavor for that extra long ride. When you chew it extra, the extra fresh flavor lasts an extra, extra, extra long time.
Extra lasts extra long.
This is Action News Brief. I'm Rudy Trevino. U.S. warships in the Persian Gulf have been placed on higher alert. That action follows last night's attack on the USS Stark and means any aircraft from Iran or Iraq indicating hostile intent will be fired upon. Some local high school students got a lesson on staying on the right side of the law from someone who didn't. And this is the time of year for cats. Lots of cats. These stories and more coming up on Action News live at 5.
Look who's here. How old are you? 21? Direct from our lab? 2 21-year-old jerks. Now, is that what you believe? Is that fair to these good guys? Look at how we're out here talking about these people. What's not to love here? Are you there, caller?
I'm right here.
Go ahead.
I just read an article recently on why men divorce their wives. And interestingly, the main reason that most of these men gave was lack of companionship. These men, in this day and age, it seems like men and women, no matter how good their relationships are.
But how can you be a companion to a guy who's watching television all night long?
Well, but you can be a companion. I think that one of the things that men need most in their relationships with women is to have the woman be their friend, their confidant, because that's what allows them to feel understood and connect with them.
I think some of the best relationships I've had have been ones where you had somebody you could hang out with. What did you do? Oh, nothing. We hung out. We were together. And that's the best part, is somebody that you're comfortable with, somebody you can be yourself with, that you can sit in your boxer shorts with.
But it's hard to be a confidant to somebody who doesn't talk to you. I think there's a vast majority of men out there who are unable to communicate their inner feelings.
But there are men that can be opened up. I mean, it does not take a can opener. They really want to know that somebody cares about what's going on. Unfortunately, a lot of women, when they want a man to open up, they're really saying, open up and tell me what you think of me, what you think of the relationship, not what you think about your troubles at work or what your dreams and visions are. Men can open up.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm stuck up here.
I think most men are spoiled. They expect a woman to do everything for them. I really do.
And the women usually do.
Wait on them hand and foot. And that's not the way it's supposed to be.
No, that's not the way it's supposed to be. But you have to start, you have to change it yourself and not expect the man to do that. And that means you have to start giving them less and expecting them to give you more.
Yeah, over here.
I think that a lot of these problems stems from insecurity. I think that a man needs to be...
Sure, that's obviously what's happening.
I don't know. I think that needs to be developed before they start to get together, because otherwise you're going to have jealousy and mistrust.
Yeah, but it is true. Most of the solutions that come about and really help a marriage are ones that are internal, where you don't look at your mate as a solution to what's really an internal problem with self-esteem.
Are you there, caller? Go ahead.
Yes. I'm wondering, like right now, like I must have a sign on my forehead that says gullible, because I meet all these men who seem like they're in a game. And they're into using women, and they come on like gangbusters, and then they back right off.
How old are you?
25.
How many men have done that to you?
More than I care to count right now.
There's an answer to that. I mean, there's a theory that we call the polarity theory that explains this very kind of squirrely behavior on the part of men, where men, because they grow up differently than women, women have to grow up connected to mother, they feel close with comfort. What men have to do is they have to back away and they have to identify with the male figure. As a result, they're forever going back and forth. Sometimes they're close, sometimes they go back away, and that behavior can be predicted in a man.
I resent the people saying that there's something wrong with aggressive women. I've been married over 19 years. All my adult life I've been giving and giving and giving, and I've been taught not to be aggressive. That affects you when you go out there and try to get a job or succeed or compete in college and all that. There's nothing wrong with an aggressive woman. You keep on being aggressive and get out there, and if the guy can't handle it, then he's got a problem. Let him resolve it.
In reference to the 19-year-old caller, I married a man who had been married before, and his ex-wife right now is home taking care of my 3 children, babysitting. And she thinks that all men are jerks and that her boyfriend is with her. She caught him in bed or whatever it was that she caught him. That's not, all men aren't like that.
Oh, you're talking about the woman who called. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you weren't talking about, there are nice men.
Yes, absolutely.
And you get along with your husband's first wife?
Absolutely. We're best friends.
Is she married?
No, she's thinking about it.
Are you there, caller?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I think that these young women are jumping into bed too quick with these guys. It's the old story is, why about the milk and the cow. I have been married 37 years to my husband, and he's more loving now than he was when we didn't even know each other. And I've been married twice before and had 2 kids when I married him, and I did not go to bed with him, and he could not wait. I never had seen sports. Our first date, we went to a Rams football game. I didn't even watch the game. I watched Tony Martin down on the field. And my husband he asked me to marry him after the first date. And he's out of town right now, and he calls me 3 times every night. I can call him at his apartment or at his job.
Well,
he's always there.
So, wait a minute. What's the moral of this story? Don't go to bed with the guy too quickly.
That is exactly right. At least make them wait, and not, if they know what they're going to get, they're just going to go right on to the next one. The old saying,
keep them wondering about what they're going to get.
No. You can go with somebody for 5 years and then get married and divorce the next day. You can go with them one time and get married. But if you take the time to learn each other and work out...
Hang on just a second.
That's what I was going to say. It's just a developing thing. You can start out with raw material, but you have to build it, and it has to grow and develop into it.
But who's the contractor and who's the raw material?
Have to be. I think I'm the worst part of our marriage. But yeah, but my husband is willing to put up with me, but I put up with him too.
Well, do you think he's making a greater sacrifice than you are?
In certain areas.
The thing my husband hates about me is... The thing I hate about my husband is...
Oh, I have a list like that. I bitch a lot.
You what a lot?
Gripe.
You gripe a lot. You're complaining all. Yeah. But he's what?
Optimistic. I'm pessimistic.
Is he demonstrative?
Yes, he's very.
Does he hold your hand in public?
Yes.
Kiss you on the back of the neck?
Yes.
Nibble at your ear?
Yes.
I'm starting to get a little warm up here talking about it. We're in Seattle, and we'll be back in just a moment. Love Women, Men Leave. Here's an attempt to help you. How you doing, Susie? It's kind of fun watching all this. You do not look altogether that unhappy to me. You're 35 and you're single. You don't consider... do you wake up in the morning and say, well, maybe today?
Well, no, you know, what happens is that after you get sad and feel full of despair is you get mad. Like the poet Diane Wachowski says, this book is dedicated to all the men who ever left me in hopes they will fall off their motorcycles and break their necks.
Are you there, caller? Go ahead, caller.
Why didn't these guys write a book for men? I'm tired of being responsible for all the relationships. Women always have to read the books and watch the TV shows.
The book doesn't make women responsible. It helps women understand and clear up some of the mysteries. And a lot of women want to be less confused and less puzzled by, you know, men's behaviors.
That's what I liked about the book, is because it told me something that I didn't understand about men, which is really that men really do want to be understood. And I am starting to look for a man, not who is charming, not who will sweep me off his feet with his promises and his champagne and his flowers, but who will listen to me.
Over here.
Who will care about me.
Who already understands himself, who's already found himself.
Well, or who is looking.
Over here.
I think there's two emotions that can really hurt a relationship, and that's possessiveness and jealousy. And I think those two right there kill some really good relationships.
You agree, don't you?
They certainly do. And you know, the basis of those is always insecurity, and we attempt to solve that insecurity by in some way controlling our mate, when the only way we can really do that is by trusting our mate and resolving it from the inside out.
Over here.
I'd really like to know if you got the titles for the different types of females from first-hand experience or from interviewing women.
Are you guys married?
Yes.
Oh, really? To each other?
Seems like it sometimes. Our wives think so.
What? How many times have they been divorced, they want to know? This is a very rough balcony here. You've got... You got to do that again. Brian, we need a two-shot. Two-shot of the males. That's the number of divorces right there. Hi, caller. Go ahead. We're glad you waited.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I think in a lot of respects men are capable of changing. I'm married to a man that is the youngest of 4 children. He's the only boy, and he was spoiled rotten growing up. His mother waited on him hand and foot, and I made it clear even before we were married that I wasn't going to do that. And early on we had a few problems, but it's really been okay.
And how long have you been married?
9 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been married 37 years, and I brought my husband with me.
Yeah.
And I question how these men end up being experts. I think it should be the people that are really living it and stayed with the same man and worked it out. And the thing of what's made our marriage last is not because I was so great or he was so great. It's because we took time with each other's interests, took time to give each other room, because we need space from each other.
What does he do at night? It's clear that he doesn't speak, so I'll talk.
Well, he's French. He doesn't need to speak.
He's French. He doesn't need to speak?
No.
This is the naughtiest audience that we...
He does a lot of sign language. Well, when he comes home, we always talk, and we have a lot of interest. We're both history buffs, so we enjoy, same kind of program. It is. We have a lot of the same interests.
Yeah. We thank you very much. And give our best to your husband.
Oh,
all right?
I have a question. I'm about to get married, and I'm wondering if men...
Really?
Men seem to want to be married, they want to have families, but they don't always want to do the things that it takes to get there. I know my fiancé is not being real great about this planning of the wedding, and I'm just wondering...
You find yourself doing all the...
A lot. And I'm wondering about all those steps in between and how men are getting to the point of dealing with those steps.
And then when you get married, well, you have to do all the...
Exactly.
Family reunions, Thanksgiving, and all. It's going to be you're going to have.
Buying birthday presents, making sure that his mother's taken care of on Mother's Day, that kind of thing. They don't seem to do those little things.
Yeah.
We think men are changing in that regard, but it really is up to you to let them know what your expectations are. That you're not doing a solo. I mean, it has to be...
But this is real interesting evidence she's got here, and you have to admire this young woman for seeing it.
Yeah.
A lot of women don't really get angry about that until after the wedding.
Right.
Are you there? Caller, hi.
Hi. The man I've been with for 2 years now, before we were together, we knew each other for 7 years as friends. And I think it's very important to be a best friend to the person you're going to be a lover with before you're their lover. Because they're more likely to stay with their best friends for a long time.
Yes.
Some I'd like to make a point on here.
This better be good. We don't let every man on this program.
A big problem I see are expectations. I think when you are expecting something out of a relationship and you don't get it, you're bound to walk away from it. Or if someone...
And you're saying that the expectation was unrealistic in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're looking at, the other person coming at you with all these expectations that you aren't willing to give back, you're going to be walking away from that.
You're married?
No.
Ever been?
Yes, I was.
Once?
Once, when I was 20.
Are you nervous about it now?
Yes, I'm afraid of it.
But letting go of expectations is the key today for a lot of men and women. Women are letting go of the notion of the prince, and men are letting go of the notion of the handmaiden. And as a result, there's going to be a lot more equality in relationships.
Boy, we hope you're right, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Find savings at Gottschalk's during Housewares Week. All Cuisinart food processor accessories 20% off. There's 4-star cutlery by Henkel. The best knife money can buy, 25% off. This famous Henkel 7-piece gourmet knife set, just $99. It's Henkel's special sale, and there's kitchen shears, a 3-piece pairing set, a 3-piece garnishing set, and Henkel's empty block, all at reduced prices. Come in and save during Housewares Week at Gottschalk's.
Hello, amigos, chips and sips. Hello, crisp buns and licking your lips. Hello, amigas, hello, smile. Taco Bell is just your style. I said, my, the usual. Why? Time for goodbye, kid stuff. Say hello, Taco Bell.
This innocuous little device is a noise meter.
Check the level.
You ready for test? AT&T developed noise meters to measure the background noise of their long-distance calls. And this is their score. What's the score of a fiber optic line being built by U.S. Sprint? Go. Twice as quiet. Call now and save with U.S. Sprint. Why pay more for more noise when you can pay less for less?
Get a taste of it. Unexpected. There's
Raisin in the middle. Kellogg's Raisin Squares. Raisin in the middle.
Kellogg's Raisin Squares.
What a sensation. Whole wheat. Sweetened with raisin. A combination with flair. A tasty little package.
With raisin in there.
Raisin in the middle. Naturally sweet raisin. Raisin in the middle.
Kellogg's Raisin Squares.
Raisin in the middle. Taste beyond compare.
Kellogg's Raisin Squares.
Wheel of Fortune, tonight at 7, only on Channel 30.
Yes, what's the matter?
Well, these people have lost their credibility to me. This guy's been married once, and the other guy's been married
So what
twice.
the hell do they know is what you're saying?
Right, and these, what is the matter with not getting married?
Indeed.
People don't have to get married to be happy.
Those lonely, rainy nights in Seattle.
Rain. It doesn't rain in Seattle.
Yes.
People don't have to be married to be happy if they're happy with themselves.
That's true.
Phil, I've been a police officer for 26 years, and I've seen a lot of battles and fights, and I've been divorced twice, one killed and the other one divorced. But I think in 19...
You shot your first wife and then you...
No.
All right. No, we just don't want you misunderstood, and we don't want to appear to be making fun of something that's obviously true and painful memory for you. So you wanted to say what?
Yes, it was. 1973, I think relationships went to hell in a handbasket and no-fault divorce.
You do?
People could just walk in. If it didn't work, they could walk out.
And you want it to be a little more difficult.
I believe
it'd be harder to get married and more difficult to get to break.
That's what I've observed in thousands of fights. I've seen that happen, and I know that that's part of the reason.
You must have seen the world walking in on that. That's some... a police officer's at risk in this domestic...
Well, I'm half crazy. That's why I was. Yeah. You've got to be half nuts to get in the middle of people's battles, but I got paid for it.
I just want to ask Susan, why do men love you? What do you do to make them love you?
Yeah, that's what we wanted.
Well, I don't know. I think part of that stems from all the discussion we've been having. First, you really have to like yourself. You don't have to be crazy about yourself, but if you feel real good about yourself, you have a solid foundation, then you can go out and look for somebody who feels good about themselves. And what you have to remember is that when the relationship ends on a bad note, whether you're the dumper or the dumpy, you go on.
Yeah. Are you there, caller?
Yes. I've had a lot of relationships, and it seems like the man just doesn't have any interest until the relationship is over. You know, it's either broken up for one reason or another, and they don't want to work on it until it's done with. And
In other words, the best way to get a man to pay attention to you is leave him.
Yeah, but I've left him, and they want to come back, and I'm not interested.
How old are you?
I'm 28 now.
And you're single?
No, I'm married now. But before, it was like one after another, and they always had the same problem. They always didn't want to work on it, or they didn't see the problem until it was too late.
Did you ever break up with your now husband when you were courting?
No.
There's a lot of talk about aggressive people, and aggressive people turn me off, too. I think a better word would be assertive.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
I think women bitch too much. All they do is bitch, and especially in the 80s, at men, and especially on your show. They're always cutting down the men. I think the reward will be their own if they treat men better. The reward will be their own.
Yeah.
I would just like to know if those male experts up there left their wives nest, so let's hear about it.
Did you leave your first wives?
It was a mutual decision to divorce. No children. We were young kids. I got married at 20.
How about you, Dr. Collins?
No, I think I was more left.
Can we sneak this caller in? Are you there?
Yes.
What is it?
I would like to say that my husband and I have been married for 7 years. We've dated forever. We have a beautiful marriage, 2 wonderful children. Don't smother those men, and please, you gentlemen, don't smother the ladies.
Don't mother them?
Smother them.
Oh, smother them.
Yes.
How do you feel about mothering him?
No, he has a mother.
And we'll be back in just a minute.
Aren't there other types of commitment?
Nah. Susie, is there a happy ending for you?
Yes, definitely. I looked around at what I had, and I had so much in my life. I started my own publicity business, and I stopped looking for a prince, and I found a man.
You have a man now?
Yeah.
Well, where is he? Well, you have our...
He's in Minneapolis, and I hope he stays with me.
Does he have a brother?
What?
I said, where is he, and does he have a brother?
Please let me take just the brief moment that we have left here to offer sincere gratitude, most especially to King 5 and Sturgis Dorrance, the man who's presided over our visit here and done it so ably, to a wonderful crew that gave us a glitch-free week, to the Emerald Palace folks who've been so courteous, And to you, I'm telling you, we can't wait to come back and see you again. You are enthusiastic, and you give a darn. We also want to express our gratitude to these guests for trying to help us all perhaps know a little more about ourselves. And to all of you in all the balconies, we thank you for your participation, and we hope you had a good time. Goodbye from Seattle.
Service.